Tonight, Lenexa's City Council will vote on a controversial Habitat for Humanity development.
A planning commission hearing on the 50-home development was packed with opposition. Some called it low-income housing that does not belong in their neighborhood. So we thought you might like to see what the houses will actually look like. We sent KCTV5's Betsy Webster to Olathe, where Habitat is building similar homes already.
What we're in right now is one of the smaller homes in Olathe. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It goes for about $240,000.
The homes here range from 1,400 to 1,800 square feet. They have stone trim, wide driveways, and an attached garage.
All of our kitchens come with quartz countertops, and then we have multiple different cabinet options that the homeowners can select from.
Habitat CEO Lindsay Hicks said the Lenexa homes will have similar finishings, but they'll be larger, with 2 car garages.
And these are just families who work in our communities and just want to be able to live in the communities in which they're a part of.
Whether you'd consider the people buying these homes to be low income probably depends on your definition. They do have income requirements, both maximum and minimum.
So for a family of 4, you would have to make between $55,000 up to about $91,000.
In Lenexa, the proposed development would go on 17 acres of city-owned land that is currently open grass with a trail running through it, leading to what will eventually be a 40-acre park. Some are upset to see the green space go. Others say it just doesn't make sense in a place where surrounding homes have a much higher price tag. The Habitat homes would sell for $200,000 to $300,000. A realtor told the city council the average home price in Lenexa is $561,000. And a homeowner opposed to the plan said surrounding homes in that neighborhood sell for up to $800,000 or more.
That city council meeting in Lenexa starts at 7 p.m. In the council packet, 100 pages already of comments submitted. In Olathe, Kansas, Betsy Webster, KCTV5 News.